Good evening, I'm Willard Cheng, sitting in for Pinky Web. Tonight, we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, we clarify matters, and we get on point. Legal luminaries have differing opinions about the Senate Impeachment Court's decision to remand the Articles of Impeachment against Vice President Sara Duterte to the House of Representatives. While some say it is unconstitutional or has no legal basis, others think it is unprecedented but allowable. The 19th Congress has ended its session, but the impeachment trial has yet to begin. Let's get on point with one of the framers of the 1987 Constitution, Atty. Christian Monsod. And he's joining us via Zoom. Good evening, Atty. Monsod.
Good evening.
Sir, you have been very vocal against the decision or the vote of the Senate Impeachment Court to remand the Articles of Impeachment to the House of Representatives. What would you say could be the remedy to this?
But you know, they remanded the articles, and the issue they raised is something that only the Supreme Court can determine whether there has been a violation of the article yung charges, more yung 1 year limit once a year. That's an issue. That's a constitutional issue that only the Supreme Court can answer. Now they're asking the House to certify that they have abided by all the requirements of the constitutional provisions, and I assume that once they get that, that it's a formality, right? Mm-hmm. It's not that if the House sends them that certification, I don't, I'd like to see what the reaction is of the Senate, that they do not agree, and then what? If they agree, then there's no problem.
Would you advise then, sir, the House to just comply with the call of the Senate?
The House said, asked for clarification, because I guess what they're asking is, why are you asking this question now? There is a pending case in the Supreme Court on the issue.
And would you suggest that just proceed with the trial?
Yes, of course, because the petition of the Vice President, I think includes whether it is constitutional or not, and includes I think an injunction, that to stop the process because it is unconstitutional or whatever it is. But the Supreme Court has not done anything about that petition, so the process should proceed.
And do you foresee, sir, the Supreme Court intervening later?
No, it's a matter that should be brought to the Supreme Court. The Senate should have brought it up to the Supreme Court instead of. It's a delaying tactic that to do this, because the Senate did not want to vote on the proposal of Senator Bato that they dismiss, because I think they realize that that is unconstitutional. So ito yung kanilang parang, sige, iparemand na lang natin dito sa House and ask them if they complied with the 1 year limit. I think that's how it proceeded, because this was not debated openly by the Senate. During a recess, they got together and so on, and they probably just said, well, how do we save the face of Bato, Senator Bato? And they said, why don't we remand this and ask them to to certify. I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
Right?
At pinasa na lang ulit ang bola pabalik sa House, ano, sir?
Alam naman nila ang sagot ng House eh. Yeah, but the House was also correct in saying, you know, will you tell us what this is all about? You know,
And
hindi mo sabi nila,
yeah.
yeah, they went up. Now, sa akin, I, I think the agenda of the Senate is that they want the case to be tried already by the 20th Congress. Kasi yung second question nila tinatanong nila if the House is willing for this to be handled by the 20th Congress, correct? I think that they changed I think that the Senate changed their game plan. No? They knew that they cannot dismiss. So, ipasa na lang natin to sa 20th Congress.
Oo. Justice Ascuna last night. Yeah.
Hindi ba pa yung mga senators who were insisting on a dismissal. I think that's what happened.
Justice Ascuna last night, sir, was saying that what the Senate did, the act of remanding to the House the Articles of Impeachment is allowable as it paves the way for a smoother transition, kumbaga, for a smoother transfer of the responsibility to the next Congress. Do you agree, sir?
Yeah, I think Justice
Ascuna.
the judge Ascuna also mentioned that that's a constitutional issue, and therefore it's a Supreme Court who will finally have to decide on that. Didn't he? That's what I think. Didn't he say that?
Kumbaga
The
po ay,
issue.
yeah, he mentioned that it was already justiciable, kumbaga, pwedeng justiciable issue, yung act of remanding.
Yeah, but it's not the Senate who will decide whether there has been compliance or not.
It will be the
It's a
Supreme Court
Supreme
in the
Court.
end, yeah.
Yes.
And then another framer,
So
sir,
there's no
yeah.
different opinion between him and me on that. The
Okay.
final word of this is the court.
All right. And then another framer of yours, sir, si Atty. Rene Sarmiento, was also suggesting that the House just comply with the demands of the Senate just to expedite the trial. Tingin niyo po,
Well,
sir?
he assumes that there is nothing more that the Senate will do in order to prolong the process, so that it will be unfinished by June 30. He's assuming that. I don't want to assume that, because the the Senate can just prolong it by all kinds of delaying tactics. So in order to achieve their objective of the 20th Congress being the one to hear the case.
Yeah. Anong tingin niyo, sir, yung magigain ng Senado sa pagpasa ng responsibilidad sa susunod na Kongreso?
Well, alam mo, nag-iba-iba yan eh. At earlier, there was a proposal that sinasabi nila na, well, you know, the Senate is not a continuing body because there is a time when there is no quorum, yung 12 senators lang, and they even cited the US case, no? When they said there's never an instance when there is no quorum. Until, of course, we told them that at noon of June 30, the senators who are departing will finish their term at noon, and that those elected will assume office at noon of June 30. So there's never a time when there are only 12 senators.
Yeah.
Now they change. They seem to have changed their point on this. They just want the case to be tried by the 20th Congress.
Sir, how soon do you think should a new set of senator
Hello.
judges take their oath?
They have already taken their oath.
The new set, sir.
They've already taken their oath. And in fact, they've already issued the summons to the Vice President. So the Senate, as a judicial body, is already existing.
And the
Right.
new set of 12 senators should also take their oath. Yung bagong papasok po, yung 12 bagong panalong senador, kailangan din pong manumpa.
They will assume office at noon of Thursday. Yeah, noon of June 30.
June 30. Should they wait for the reopening of Congress in July for them to take their oath? Or July 1, June 30, 12 noon, dapat manumpa na po sila?
Their term starts on noon of June 30, right? When the formalities may be different, they're not on exactly mid-noon of June 30, but as far as their term is concerned, they already start their term of office at noon of June 30.
Senate President Chis Escudero was saying that the House has no choice but to comply with the impeachment court's order. What if, sir, the House continues to defy it?
They did not. The House is not defied. They just said, "Will you please explain?" What, di ba? They filed
Motion to seek clarification, yeah.
Clarification lang.
At enough na po yun, sir. Tingin niyo po.
It should be enough, no? But the Senate will say that because the House says they complied with all of the requirements anyway, that there was no violation of the provision. The provision rests on how you define initiate, di ba? There have been charges that have been initiated, and therefore this particular charge would violate the 1 year rule, no? Initiated, if you read the provisions of Section 3, Paragraph 2 of Article 11, it's a very detailed process. I think initiated does not refer to just filing.
Yeah.
No, right? There's a process.
Yeah.
That it is put in the order of business, and then after that, it is referred
To the Justice Committee.
on Justice through the Speaker. Diba?
Yeah.
And so, and sinasabi nga din ni Vice President is they froze it. In other words, huminto. That there was never a referral to the Committee on Justice,
Yeah.
correct? So it was not initiated.
So, sir, ang act of initiation starts with the referral, ano po, not the filing.
Yeah, no, the referral. And the recommendation of the committee to the plenary.
Yeah.
Di ba, after 60 days,
Yes.
there's a... So, if the Supreme Court looks at it and so on the definition of initiated, certainly even the Vice President in her petition to the Supreme Court really describes it as frozen. That means it has not yet been initiated, quote unquote, right? In legal terms. Correct?
All right. We'll take a short break with one of the framers of the 1987 Constitution, Attorney Christian Monsod. Stay tuned. This is On Point. You're watching On Point. Still with us, one of the framers of the 1987 Constitution, Atty. Christian Monsod. Attorney, do you see the need to amend or revise certain provisions concerning impeachment to avoid similar gray or to address gray areas or ambiguities to avoid similar confusion or uncertainties from happening again? For instance, the time frame for the Senate to start its trial, should the Constitution specify the number of days, for instance, from the time they receive the articles to the time that they should start trial, sir?
But there have been already three impeachment charges that the Senate has handled. There was no problem, right? These problems that are arising now did not arise in the other three impeachment proceedings. There's something wrong with the way people are behaving on this one, and that's not a question. It's not an issue of whether the Constitution should be amended or not, because at least as far as I know, there have been three impeachment processes, and they work. It's only this particular case where the Senate uh, is at first, I think they thought they could dismiss it, and now they're prolonging the process. It was already prolonged from February 5. That they're making it difficult for the trial to finally function, right? But I think we're very close to it. Just a little patience and allow them to senators to save face with what they were trying to do.
Would you suggest then, attorney, that they just specify the time frame, for instance, in the Senate rules or the rules of on impeachment that they have adopted?
Ay, nako. It is I think they had other ideas, and now that they know that cannot, those cannot happen. So ipapasa na lang nila sa 20th Congress yung responsibility.
Attorney, what do you make of senator judges moving to dismiss or to throw out the impeachment complaint? Do you see the need for them to inhibit from the
No,
trial?
there is no law on that. No, if you read the Supreme Court decisions, those were voluntary acts of the justices. Na there must baka mayroong conflict of interest, or their bias might be too strong and all that, and so they voluntarily do not participate. Uh, the, so it's a matter, what do I call it? It's a matter of integrity of whether the person believes the he or she cannot be independent and impartial, and therefore steps back and doesn't participate in the proceedings. That's a matter of that would be a voluntary act on their part.
And attorney, lagi naming naririnig na impeachment is a political exercise. Kumbaga, nagmamatter kung ilan ang mga kaalyado mo sa Senado. Tama bang pagtingin na mas nananaig yun kaysa sa bigat ng ebidensya pagka ganyan?
Well, I cannot make a judgment on them, right? It's a matter of themselves. Where is the integrity in them that they will voluntarily recuse themselves? There is no disqualification move here. I'm just saying that those senators who believe they cannot be independent or impartial should voluntarily recuse themselves. If they don't, we will find out how they will vote anyway. When it comes to a vote on acquittal or conviction.
Attorney, nag-adjourn na po ang Congress sinidye. Ibig ko ba sabihin hindi pwedeng mag-hold din ng proceedings ang Senate Impeachment Court?
Well, I think yung kanilang sinidir refers to their legislative function eh. Di ba? Yeah. So it doesn't refer to their function as a impeachment court.
So pwede silang mag-hold ng proceedings if they choose to, ano po?
I think so. I think they can do that.
To discuss, for instance, the motions that would be filed, no? Ito motion to seek clarifications ng House at kung ano-ano pa pong motions na pwede ihain.
Eventually, we will have a trial. If the 19th Congress do not like to do that, they can do all kinds of things and postponements so that it will be left to the 20th Congress to try the case. Whatever reason they have, right? We can only guess. But I think their purpose now, their objective is for the 20th Congress to be the one to hear the case.
Of course, may purpose po, no? Kung bakit hiniwalay ng framers yung section ng accountability of public officers sa hiwalay pang article. What then, Attorney Christian Monsod, would be your advice to the senator judges who will try the case?
Well, I already said, it's up to them. It is a matter of their own integrity. That's what the justices of the Supreme Court do. That when they feel that they cannot, that there's maybe a conflict of interest, or they don't believe that they can get rid of any bias and all that they voluntarily recuse themselves. It's a matter of integrity and conscience, di ba?
And hindi ho kaya mawalan ng quorum?
We will see what those senators are made of.
Kung nagkaganon ho kaya, Attorney, baka mawalan ng quorum?
I don't think naman not going to be that bad that there is no quorum. I think there will always be a quorum.
And Attorney Christian Monsod, what would be your message to the public na nakaantabay dito at marahil ay naguguluhan? Ano bang nangyayari sa Senado? Bakit nagtatalo? Bakit hindi pa magsimula ang paglilitis, sir?
Well, I think the people are speaking for themselves. I don't have to speak for them. A lot of people are speaking for themselves, whether you're talking about association, the church, the NGOs, the people, they are already expressing themselves, and it's correct that they should express themselves, and to demand that the public officials who are involved in this case will live up to the trust that the public has given to them.
All right, with that, we thank you. One of the framers of the 1987 Constitution, Attorney Christian Monsod. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Welcome, diba?
And that's On Point. Join us again tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. here on BNC, the Billionaire News Channel. I'm Willard Cheng. Thank you for watching.